today I'll be discussing about transmission cooling system. A lot of people will be thinking that it's only the engine that has a cooling system. The transmission also has a cooling system because the transmission works under high temperature and pressure. Therefore, there's going to be an increase in temperature as the transmission works. It's also very important to dissipate as much heat as possible from the transmission system, otherwise the transmission will get away. Now, most manufacturers will use a combination of cooling systems for the transmission system. For instance, they could use a heater matrix or a heat exchanger that goes through the radiator to take excess heat from the cooling system. While some will use a combination of the heat exchanger and also an air cooler to take heat from the transmission. But lately, a lot has been happening with the transmission systems. We have a situation whereby water, or let me say coolant from the engine cooling system, seeps into the transmission oil and cause damages to the transmission system. We've seen quite a lot of this happen over time. Today I'll be discussing that and also telling you how you can avoid that happening to your transmission system. Now let's look at this transmission system. This is a transmission that water gets into, and you can see exactly what happened to it. The clutch materials became delaminated because the adhesive that is holding the clutch material, the friction material on it, begins to peel off. You can see quite a lot of them here peeling off. You can see this, all broken off. And when that happens, the transmission completely becomes ruined. And this is one of the kind of heat exchangers that you have. You have oil passing through and you also have coolant passing through. Now, when this have a problem inside, when it ruptures inside, then you have a mix of water getting into the transmission or oil getting into the cooling system. Now, if yours is not built this way, there's also the radiator system that looks like this. Now, if you look at this, these are the hoses that come from the transmission, and these are supposed to cool the transmission oil. So there's a heat exchanger here that the coolant inside the cooling system also cools it and cools the transmission oil. Now, when this gets ruptured inside, you also get coolant seeping into the transmission system. Now, that is a very expensive mistake that can happen to any transmission. Now, there is a fix for it, and I've done quite a lot of this lately because I've had issues of transmission packing out because the coolant is getting in. Now, if you look at this BMW, this is the AC condenser, and if you look below the AC condenser here, you will see the power steering cooler. Now, beyond that, you'll see some two steps of coolers here. I did this myself. I had to fabricate this for the transmission cooling system because I don't want a situation like this to happen to my car. So I had to use an air cooling system for the transmission. Now you'll be wondering, how will that be done on my vehicle? It's very easy. That a lot of things that are sold in the market. I'll show you an example here. This one sits in the the front of the radiator of a BMW E39. You can see this section here is for the power steering fluid. Now this section here, the aluminum side you see in here, is for the transmission cooler. Now, I don't know for what reason lately that most vehicle manufacturers are beginning to adopt the heat exchanger that goes through the radiator or through the coolant. I don't understand that. I still stand by this system where you have a complete separate cooler, an air cooler for the transmission system. So if you want your transmission to work effectively well without no problems, for a situation like this to happen to your transmission system, then my best bet for you is to use an air cooler that fits in front of your vehicle front grille. It could be fitted anywhere around here as long as air passes through. So as long as your engine is being cooled by the radiator fan, it could be electric, it could be viscous fan, it's guaranteed that your transmission is going to work very well without packing out prematurely. So that is my fix for you today, transmission cooling system.